tied up in frivolity, fighting endless wars for trivialities. We must have lost our way many centuries before. Misconceptions of what's in store. We cannot define destiny. We're still lost in mystery. Realize Congo paper on the shore. Every passing day we dream of one day more. Time is running out. Time is running
Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and of course we would like to talk about Bitcoin. When we talk about the price of Bitcoin, we're going to be talking about some of these altcoins here. We'll talk about some stocks if you guys want to talk about stocks in the stock market. You know, stock market closed for the day about an hour ago, but we can talk about stocks as well. But yeah, like we normally like talk about crypto here, so why not get right into it? We'll talk about Bitcoin. And where I think Bitcoin might go next, now that it's looking like we're having a kind of like a red day here in cryptocurrency world. I think why is this thing not zoom focusing in on here for my TikTok viewers? I'm doing a TikTok live stream and a YouTube live stream, and if you can see, I'm wearing a red shirt right now. You see my YouTube, my TikTok guys can see, yeah. But I'm wearing a red shirt right now for a red day. We have a red day in the markets here, and yeah. Bitcoin could possibly go a little bit lower here, and if it does, where do I see it going down? We still have the Fibonacci analysis coming into play here. We might have to actually come down to this golden pocket, which we almost did. We almost went down to the golden pocket here on Friday, last Friday, July 25th here, where we saw Bitcoin go down to 114,750. We kind of front ran it a little bit. We should have actually went down to 114,500, but maybe we're actually going to do that in the next few days here. Maybe even get as low as $113,700 here before, you know, we might get an actual bounce to higher prices here. But if for some reason we're not able to actually get the bounce off of this level here, if Bitcoin does go down to $113,000, $114,000, then I'm not sure if the 0.5 retracement is actually going to hold through. Okay, we might actually come down to the 50-day moving average here, sitting at $106,000 Bitcoin, 106,660 to be exact. But by the time this thing, by the time this thing moves on to the next day and the price actually comes down to that level here, we might actually see it right here at 107,793, which is where the 0.382 retracement sits at. So I still think if we're going to be bearish here on Bitcoin, if Bitcoin needs to come down to lower prices just to generate some more demand and interest in it, then we're looking at $107,800 Bitcoin all over again in the near future here. If we're not able to cash these bids, this is not good. Bitcoin's just doing a consolidation here, a consolidation pattern. You could call us maybe like possibly a bull flag, but I was anticipating that this 21 EMA, this exponential moving average, this white line, I thought we would actually start bouncing off of it to go up to higher prices, and we got the exact opposite. We're actually losing the 21 EMA. This white line, this 21 EMA for the daily time frame is sitting at 117,880. We got earlier today, we got as high as 118,000, actually 119,000 earlier today. Let me just go into the 1 hour time frame to see when exactly that happened. Okay, we did see $119,000 Bitcoin roughly about 8 o'clock in the morning here, and 119,284 around like 3 a.m. while most of us were sleeping, or at least 3 a.m. Eastern time here while most of us were sleeping. And it's just been going down ever since all throughout the whole day here. We have lost the 100 moving average, this red line on the 1 hour time frame. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, okay, we lost the 50 moving average, which could have provided us some support. On the 4 hour time frame, Bitcoin, if we come down, like the 200 MA is sitting at $114,000. So maybe we have to see that $114,000 level to actually generate some demand here for Bitcoin. But going back to the daily time frame, right? If Bitcoin can actually start catching some bids here, if people could start showing some interest in Bitcoin, then yeah, I like I said, I still think we could see all-time highs at 123K Bitcoin later on this week. It's still not over. We still have what? For the week, we have 5 more days, 3 more hours left on the weekly candle here for us to actually get up to all-time highs. But this is not a good way to start the week, in my opinion, for Bitcoin. A little bit curious what you guys might think might be the reason why we're not actually getting some bids here on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. But some people that follow the moon cycles, they might be saying like, hey, we got a new moon coming up. That's usually a bad time to be in Bitcoin. Usually full moon is when you get the bounce and go up to higher prices. Let me go ahead and try to turn that indicator on here so you guys can kind of see what I mean. So I'm not talking that crazy stuff. But there are some people out there that are talking about the moon cycle coming into play here on cryptocurrency. And maybe that just might have to be the case here. Okay. Looks like we had a new moon. That new moon actually came in on Friday, July 25th, when we saw Bitcoin get down to 114,750. So maybe this new moon energy is suppressing the price of Bitcoin for now. Usually when we get a full moon, like we had a full moon on Thursday, July 10th. All right. Look what that did for us on Bitcoin. We had a couple of green candles and we kept going up to basically a new all-time high. I'm not sure when we get another new moon. I should probably look that up for you guys here. When we get a full moon, that should send the price of Bitcoin up. Let's see what the full moon for August will be for Bitcoin here. Full moon August. I mean, as crazy it might seem, it does seem to play out. So maybe this is when we see new all-time highs for Bitcoin. It says the full moon, which is going to be called the Sturgeon moon, will occur Saturday, August 9th. So maybe that's when we see Bitcoin make new all-time highs again. Okay, but yeah, as you can see, like every time we get a full moon, we get a bounce. Okay, actually, I should probably say the new moon is when we get the all-time high or the top, because the full moon is like when we catch the bounce and the bids here. Okay, so maybe we're not actually going to catch that bounce, catch that bid until August 9th. But yeah, you can see the full moon actually becomes a thing here, where we actually go up to higher prices only to then get rejected off the new moon, then get a bounce off the full moon, they get rejected off the new moon, they get bounced off the full moon, and it just keeps repeating itself in this crazy ass moon cycle. You guys might want to try to add that moon cycle indicator if you want to see what I use for a moon cycle indicator. It's called Moon Cycles, and it's by Silico. Might be worth adding into your charts here, as crazy as that might sound. But I think I might be ready to look at some of the altcoins here. Let's see, what are you guys are saying here in the chat, the live stream? Yeah, Eric, I am watching the charts here with the moon indicator because for some crazy ass reason it actually works. Okay. So it's just something for us to use. I mean, I'm here for your entertainment purposes, but I think, you know, education-wise, that moon cycle, it really does come into play for some reason here. We got CC asking for STLA. Was that Tesla? Or is that STLA? But alright. STLA. I got that. And then Bull. Alright, we'll take a look at those assets. Are those stocks or cryptos? Because I know you like to talk about stock market here. And I like to talk about the stock market too, but usually I got my crypto guys keeping me busy here. They all want to know about the cryptocurrencies here. We got H-bar. Okay. Yeah, Erica said, the moon cycles is actually a thing that some crypto influencers and guys that look at the charts like myself have been looking at. I don't know if you know Eric Crown. He's a big famous, well, he's big in the crypto YouTube space here. But Eric Crown, he looks at the moon cycles as well from time to time, and he thinks it's funny and he thinks it's a joke. But he also knows that there really is something to it, as funny as it might be. So, as funny as it might be, it ends up being right all the time. So, I don't know. There's probably something to it. In my opinion, I think the reason why the moon cycle is the thing is because I think around like the beginning of the month is where we get the new moon most of the time. And the beginning of the month is when people are just trying to pay their bills, pay their rent, so they don't have the extra money to be putting into crypto. And some of them are actually selling their crypto to pay their rent, pay their mortgage. So I think that's why we get a little bit of suppression on the price towards like the end of the month and the beginning of the month. And then in the middle of the month, which is where we've been getting these full moon, that's when the full moon usually happens, right? Like next month there's going to be, the full moon is, what do I say? I said the full moon is going to be August 9th. Yeah, by that point, people already paid their bills, they paid their rent, they paid their mortgage, and they got a little bit extra money to be buying crypto again. So I think that's what's really going on, but people say it has something to do with the moon cycles. That's just my opinion. Alright, CC said, yeah, those are stocks. Okay, I appreciate that request, CC. I'm glad to have you on board and asking me about stocks here, because I feel like I talk about the cryptocurrency market all the time here, and I like talking about cryptocurrencies, but I also like talking about stocks. So I appreciate you being here and asking me about stocks, because we can talk about stocks, and we can also talk about crypto here. All right, and we got a request here for SBET. Just writing these things down. Appreciate the requests. So I guess we'll do things a little bit differently here because CC made the request first. We're gonna actually look at a couple of stocks here first, and then we'll look at HBAR and SBET. But I appreciate those requests here. Thank you guys for coming on to the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button. My TikTok guys, if you double tap the screen, that's how you get the likes to show up here. And then for my YouTube guys, don't forget to hit the like button as well. All right, moving on to STLA. Stellantis, okay. I heard about Stellantis. Let's see what Stellantis is doing. Guys, I apologize for the voices in the background. I'm on vacation right now, and you know I got the living room right next to me. It doesn't matter what room I'm in the house, you're gonna hear them anyway. So hopefully you guys are able to hear me. But I think you guys are able to hear me. Yesterday I had a little issue with I had an issue with sound and I didn't know, but apparently my headphones was connected to my phone, and that was messing up my TikTok live stream. But anyways, getting right into it, we're looking at Stellantis, currently trading at $9.59. And what do we got here for Stellantis? I think this is the first time I ever looked at Stellantis. I know they were related to cars. They build cars. I forgot what name brands they have. Maybe you can put that in the comment in the chat, in the live chat here. But wow, looks like Stellantis had better days back in March of 2024. This is almost looking like one of those altcoins in cryptocurrency world here, where altcoins had a pretty good, you know, February and March of 2024, and so did Stellantis here. But I'm just trying to zoom out and see like how Stellantis has performed over the years. And you know, I had a rough 2020, you know, during COVID, was able to recover, and then looks like we had a rough 2022 in July of 2022, only for us to then see us go to higher prices in 2023 and 2024. But now, wow, okay, Stellantis is just coming down. I'm assuming that Stellantis is probably getting beat up by the tariff situation, right? I don't believe Stellantis is a American producer of cars, so that might be the reason why the stock might be going down. But I don't know, CC, you tell me. Due to tariffs, and you think they went bankrupt in Japan or somewhere? Okay, so that makes sense. And they do the Chrysler brand. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, with all that being said, if this thing's getting close to bankruptcy, then yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Let's see. It looks like they had a bad earnings report here. They were expected to make about 24 cents on their last quarter, ending in December of 2024. They reported these earnings on February of 2025, and they only reported earnings of 8 cents, and that was like a 16-cent surprise. There was actually 66% surprise to the downside. So yeah, I think that sent them down. And they have another earnings report coming up. Looks like their earnings is coming up for Tuesday, July 29th. What? Oh, that's today. They should actually be talking about their earnings today. They're expected to have earnings about 22 cents and revenue about $87 billion here. So I can see why you made this request. Okay. All right. So obviously Stellantis is in a downtrend. Okay. Below the 200-day moving average, below the 100-day, below the 50-day, and looks like it's even below the 21 EMA that I use for my moving averages here. When an asset is in a downfall and a free fall and making a downward pressure and basically trying to find a bottom here, what I like to do, CC, is I like to turn on the RSI and try to see if there's any bullish divergence. Okay, and I kind of do see a little bit of bullish divergence showing up. Okay, so obviously, you know, you see that you're making lower lows on the price here. Okay, however, you are making higher lows on the RSI, ever so slightly. And what this is bullish divergence, okay? If these lines were to continue doing what they're doing, they would eventually collide into each other, and that's your bullish divergence. And it's bullish divergence because the price is going down the lower prices, but the RSI, the relative strength index, right, is making higher lows here, that red line. And you just keep doing that. And what this is doing is, this is saying that the buyers are stepping up. They're showing up at these prices at the $9 level here, $8 level. Okay. So this is the beginning of trying to bottom out on your asset here. In this case, this is Stellantis. So that is promising. Okay. What we then want to see after we start to bottom out is we want to then do one of two more things here. We want to start making higher highs at some point, okay? So the last high that we made here on the daily time frame, as I start to zoom in, is we see that on Tuesday, May 13th, we got up to $10.99. Get above that level at some point in the near future, and I would start to feel better about this creating an uptrend. Of course, as you're making your higher highs, you want to eventually make our higher lows. Here we have the lows here. We had a low here on April 23rd at 889. And then we had a low here on Monday, June 23rd at $9.12. So obviously this is a higher low than that one. But then look what you did. You kind of invalidated this higher low process that you were doing here. Okay, because the last low on June 23rd, $9.12. You end up making a lower low here at $9.03. So technically you're not actually creating that higher low environment. You're kind of like wishy-washy here, okay? But you can still fix that because you can actually count this as a double bottom in this instance, right? These two bottoms are next to each other. And what I want to then see is I want to continue seeing higher lows, and I want to eventually see that higher high to get above $10.99. And then the next thing I want to see after you start making your uptrend with the higher lows and higher highs, I want to eventually see you get above this 200-day moving average, okay? That 200-day moving average is sitting at $11.74, this red line right here. Get above that 200-day moving average, and that will cause other professional traders and investors out there to start to become more bullish on the asset. And there's trading bots out there that can see that, and they'll actually start clicking the buy button and try to buy up Stellantis when it gets above the 200-day moving average, okay? And then you'll see something where it gets above the 200-day moving average, then comes back down, retests the 200-day moving average, and then finally starts to get a bounce and catch some bids off the 200-day moving average. But, you know, as long as you're below this 200-day moving average, this red line, I would have to consider myself to be bearish on this asset. This thing has a lot of proving to do in order for me to feel comfortable about being more bullish. But if you feel like you're trying to catch the bottom right now, then yeah, you could catch the bottom at $9.59, right? You can put your stop loss right below these last two bottoms here, you know, below $9. You know, if this thing loses $9, then there might be something still wrong with Stellantis, and you might not want to stick around to find out. Even more conservative on your stop loss is to put your stop loss right below this last candlewick low at April 8th when this thing got down to $8.39. You could probably put your stop loss at $8.35 and hope that it never goes down to that level. And if it does, then, you know, your stop loss will get triggered and you won't be losing any more money in this asset. Okay? But yeah, you could possibly be bottoming out here in Stellantis, okay? Or you could possibly just trade sideways for the rest of the year, going into next year. Or if we start getting some good news about the tariff situation and them actually making a profit instead of losing money, then you might see this thing actually start catching some bids and going up to that. At least the 200-day moving average, I think, would be your first take profit target. Get above that, and then we can look at this thing again and maybe draw a Fibonacci. But for now, just prove to me that you can make a higher high above that high at $10.99, and then prove that you can get up to the 200-day moving average at like $11.74, and then we can look at this again and see if this thing is going to continue on an uptrend. All right, so that's Stellantis. We'll take a look at the bull next. Is the bull a cryptocurrency? Because I do have a bull cryptocurrency, but I don't know if that's a stock you want me to look at, because there is a Webull. If you're still in the chat there, CC, let me know. I know you made that request. Looks like we have a request for Polkadot by Deuce. I got you. We'll take a look at Polkadot for you when we get a chance here. When I get a chance. And yeah, okay, CC says he wants to look at Webull. Alright, that's why we have to clarify. So, CC, if you're looking at these stocks, yeah, sometimes you have to tell me, you know, it's a stock rather than a crypto, because there's a lot of cryptocurrencies that also have the same ticker symbol as some of these stocks that are out there. And Paradis is asking me about Link. Okay, we'll take a look at Link. Alright, so we'll do these stock requests for CC, and then we'll get back into cryptocurrency. And I see Medina's in the YouTube chat. Good to see you, bro. Actually, I shouldn't really assume gender. I don't even know. I'm assuming you're a dude, but yeah. Let me know if you want me to look at one of your cryptos there, Medina. Alright, so we're gonna look at Webull now. Webull currently trading at $13.69. Oh wow, Webull had a bad day today, down 12%. Did they report bad earnings or something? Eso no, no bueno. No bueno. Oh wow, a nasty red candle here. Down 12%. Looks like they had another nasty red candle here on last Thursday, July 24th. What is going on with Webull here? Okay. I mean, but the thing is that Webull is trying to create like an uptrend here. Alright, Medina, I see your request for Pepe and Doge. I got you. I got some requests that came before you, but we'll get to that one. We'll get to those two. Appreciate your you coming into chat and making the requests here. Yeah, what are we gonna do here with Webull? Wow. No, I thought Webull's been around for a while. Looks like this is saying it started trading April 7th on the Nasdaq. Did this thing get delisted and then relisted? Yeah. Bell wants me to look at Trump coin. I got you. Appreciate that request. And then we want to look at the RSR. Okay. Guys, keeping me busy over here. RSR. All right. Yeah, let me just... I'm a little bit curious. Is there another... No, I mean, Webull is on the Nasdaq, but it looks like it just started trading April 7th here. All right, and then it had a nice gap up. Oh my god. It looks almost like kind of like IPO day. This thing went up 374% on April 14th, only for it to then come down. This is looking like kind of like one of those altcoins in cryptocurrency world here. Jeez. You guys think cryptocurrency world is crazy, you know, stock market can be just as crazy sometimes. So, you know, with all this data, I don't really have that much data for like a 50-day or 100-day moving average, so I'm actually just going to take off the moving averages for now. And we pretty much have like a naked chart. And it looks like you had like a nice little rounded bottom here on Webull. You could call this maybe the beginnings of a cup and handle pattern, and this would be the handle. And eventually we make a higher low and then go up to higher prices here. So I can kind of visualize that a little bit here. If this was a cup and handle pattern, you would just measure from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup. And you would just put this over to like where we could possibly break out of the handle here. And this says that we could possibly see a $22.41 Webull in the near future here. I do like the fact that you're starting to make higher highs and higher lows here. Could this possibly be another higher low before we start going up to higher prices? I don't know, but we would want to see this not go down any lower than where it is and then start making a run up to higher prices here. But yeah, I like the fact that you're making higher highs, higher lows. You could also say that this thing could be in a channel. Let me see if I can draw that out here. So the channel's kind of looking like this. Let me just try to extend it out a little bit. You might actually be in a ascending channel here on Webull. And you might actually be testing the bottom of this channel, only for us to get a nice healthy bounce off of it back to the heart line in the channel, which is this purple dash line in the middle. And then, of course, when you get to the top of the channel here, it's probably when you would like to sell if you're day trading or swing trading it. But if you're in this thing for the long term, then you probably want to know where the take profit targets are going to be in the future. And I think already I just answered that you might see $22.41 as your first take profit target, just using the cup and handle chart pattern measured move here. Okay, but let's do a little bit of Fibonacci here. Yeah, I'm gonna try to start with what we did here back in April, where we saw this thing get as high as what, $79.56. Measure from that top level there down to, looks like we bottom out here like $9.60. As we start climbing up to higher prices here, I would expect Webull to make it off this $26 level, this red level here, that red number at $26.31. That's the 0.236 retracement. That's where I think we might get a rejection. Well, not too far off from that $22 level here, that $22 number that I had on Webull. But yeah, I think for some reason when we get to like $22, $26, we might get rejection off of Webull just using technical analysis here. And I wouldn't even mention getting up to these higher levels here because I think this thing has a lot of work to do, a lot of proving to do to get up to those levels. But at some point I would expect like this thing maybe to make it to the golden pocket at 618. $53 Webull. Could happen, but I don't know if that's going to happen this year. Might be something for like next year or the year after that. But yeah, those are your upside targets for Webull. Alright. Moving on to some other assets here. Check 8 days ago. So watching both stocks. Alright. 5 Protocol. Is that a request for 5 Protocol? Take a look at that one. Appreciate that. And then Neymar wants to look at Brett. Hey, Neymar, how's the sound today? I know we were having issues yesterday, but how am I sounding today? Assuming you can hear me. I got a chance to look at the live stream and I knew what was wrong. I got my headphones connected to my phone still, and it messed things up. Alright, alright. Appreciate the follow, Bell. Thank you. And Neymar says I sound great. Awesome. All right, we'll continue on with the live stream now. Moving on from Webull to H-Bar. We see H-Bar is currently trading at 26 cents, down 4% today. And yeah, H-Bar was doing the thing. It had made higher highs compared to the highs that it made here in March of 2025. We saw this thing as high as like 28 cents back around that time. But we did and were able to make a higher high here at like at 30 cents, almost 30.5 cents here. So congratulations on doing that. That allows us to be more bullish on this asset. However, if I turn on the oscillators, I bet you I'm going to see the RSI is a little bit overbought. RSI was overbought here on Sunday, July 13th, and also around like this past Sunday at July 20th, we saw RSI of like 76.46. All right, and that just meant that H-Bar was less likely to go up. However, it did try to make one more hoorah move up to the upside, where we did see this thing up to like 30 cents. And now we're coming back down again. However, the RSI is also cooling off here, so that's good to see. RSI is now sitting at 58.32. I think that allows H-Bar to go up to higher prices if it wants to. Let's see what Market Cipher B has to say. Market Cipher B, nice little cheat sheet. Shows us that we had a red dot that came today, actually. So I actually think H-Bar is probably going to want to go down rather than go up. Unless we get Bitcoin going back up to new all-time highs again, then you might immediately see another green dot that says now is a good time to buy. But you did have a green dot here on Sunday saying that it was a good time to buy, only for us to then a couple of days later, on Tuesday, get this red dot saying now it's time to sell. So Market Cipher B is a little bit confused right now, but it is saying for now that you should be selling H-Bar or taking profit. Okay? So yeah, we have that to contend up and think about here. Could we come down a little bit lower and retest maybe 23 cents all over again, which is where we were trading at, and got some candlewick lows and bottoms at that level? I think so. I think that could be a possibility. I'm gonna quickly draw a Fibonacci here to try to figure out how far down it could possibly go. I like drawing out these Fibonaccis here. And this is saying that the 618 Fibonacci is at 23 cents. So we might have to revisit 23 cents all over again just to reconfirm that that's actually a support level before we go up to higher prices on H-bar. I'm expecting that level to hold. Let's see what the moving averages have to say. Yeah, so the 21 EMA is sitting at like 24.5 cents. That could be a possible level where we bounce off too with this white line here. Okay. But if 23 cents isn't going to hold, then yeah, maybe we have to come and visit the tuna day sitting at 20 cents or around 21 cents, which is kind of like right where this 0.5 retracement is sitting at. Get a bounce off that level before we go up to higher prices. Okay. But I think H-bar is trying to figure out where the higher low is going to be in this case. I don't think the bull trend is over yet, especially if Bitcoin is going to go up to higher prices here. But it looks like we are trying to figure out where's the fair price for everybody to be trading H-bar. So for now, I don't think we have to worry about upside targets, but if we do go up to higher prices here, we do have the 1272 saying that we could see 35-cent H-bar. And then we have a 1618 saying that maybe later on in 2025, we could see a 41-cent H-bar. And those will be your upside targets on H-bar. Moving on to SBET. I'm assuming this is a crypto, because we do have an SBET crypto. Sharplink Gaming. Yeah, I'll do it as a crypto. You tell me if you want to look at as a stock. But we'll take a look at this one as a crypto, unless you want to correct me on that. SBET Gaming. Or maybe you do want me to look at it as a stock, because this thing looks like it's doing jack shit as a crypto. And it hasn't really been trading that long here as a crypto. May 29th is where I'm getting some data. I might have to just change this over to the stock. But for the crypto here, you are making it looks like you're trying to make a higher low here. This thing is trading at 357, down 10% today. Let me go over into the chat here and make sure that I'm looking at the right one here. Yeah, let's look at I'm gonna look at this asset as a stock, because I feel like that's where you want me to look at this thing. Sharplink Gaming on the NASDAQ. Also very similar to the crypto, but we definitely have more data now. Wow, this thing has seen definitely better days here. Jesus Christ, this thing used to be almost like a $400 stock. What the hell's wrong? What is it doing here at 19 bucks? Man, if you wanted a good find a good place to lose your money, you would buy this stock, because this thing is just going down and to the right, down and to the right. This thing has seen better. Oh, some of its best days was like December of 2005. Man, I'm not even sure. I would never invest in this thing. I would just keep shorting this thing. This thing, if it hasn't gone bankrupt, it's gonna go bankrupt again. Alright, or bankrupt soon. It's gonna go bankrupt soon if it hasn't gone bankrupt here. Let's see, this thing, what's this S here? You had a split? A stock split? Oh my god. This thing is trash. I would not be involved in this stock. I would only be shorting it. That's how you would make money on this asset. And I would just expect this thing to come right back down to the moving averages, sitting at $10 here. This looks like $19 it doesn't even deserve to be at that price. And that's all I'm gonna say. If you want to continue losing money, then this is the asset to be in. I don't know if you're trying to save money on your taxes and show some losses here, but this would be the one to do it. And if you're actually trying to make money, I would be short selling this thing and taking put options on it on the NASDAQ. Hey, Trade Intuition, how you doing? We're looking at a stock here that's really good at losing people money. It looks like one of these trash altcoins or meme coins that are out there. And looks like there's trash in the stock market too. So don't get mad at me for calling it what it is. I would not be investing in this thing. I would be short selling it and taking put options and trying to whatever way I can to bet that the price is going to go down, because that's pretty much what this thing has done. If I go into the monthly chart, look what it's done over the years, just losing money for everybody that gets involved in it. Just down and to the right, you get these crazy candles to the upside out of nowhere, only for you to then get to continue losing more money. So if you're trying to save money on taxes by showing losses on your investments, this would be the one to get into. Sharp Link Gaming. All right. Moving on from there to Polkadot. And I'm just going to turn the AC off here for a second, guys. It's getting a little bit too cold here. I'll be with you in one moment. Joe, I don't know if you're able to see me wearing this red shirt, but I'm wearing a red shirt for a red day. Because we are having a red day here in cryptocurrency world. And for my TikTok guys, you can see I'm wearing a red shirt here. Alright. Yeah, I usually wear red on red days. Okay. Looking at Polkadot. Currently trading at $3.86 right now, down 2.5%. And I need to adjust the charts here. I'm on the monthly chart here. We got to get into the daily time frame. Okay. Alright, Polkadot. Looks like Polkadot's respecting the TA. Got rejected off of the 200-day moving average. This red line right here. But now it's starting to make a lower high here, possibly. Now, are we going to maintain this level here? This crucial level that we have to stay at, because this is where previous price action has gotten support in the past here. I think we have to stay at this level, or we could possibly see lower prices here on Polkadot. Let me just go ahead and draw out my fibs here. We'll draw out from the top here, the swing high, down to the low. And it looks like the low was made here back on June 22nd. Let me just readjust this here a little bit so you can kind of see the numbers clearly. So we got as low as $3.02, and we got as high as $4.67. All right, so yeah, my fib is good now. All right, so we are literally at the 0.5 retracement right now at $3.86. Maintain this level, or you're gonna come right down to $3.66. Maybe that's where you get a bounce. More likely, you might have to do a deeper retracement to the 0.236 level at $3.42. $3.42 is confluent to the level that you were trading at back here in early July and late June. That would be very unfortunate, but you do have some support at that area. And if I quickly draw the VRVP, I bet you would say that you got the support at that area too. You got a high volume node here at $3.41. Let me go ahead and get rid of the Fibonacci here for a second. But yeah, you can see you got high volume at 341. You got the value area low sitting at 355. Point of control is slightly above us, this blue line at $3.99. Maybe we start getting a bounce off the 0.5 retracement, and we start heading over to 397. Which after you get above 397, the volume starts to drop off here. You got a little bit of resistance here at $4.18. Volume drops off some more, and then you got some more resistance at 444, and I think 444 should be your take profit target 1, and then take profit target 2 is probably going to be right above the 200-day moving average at this value area high sitting at $4.59. Let me go ahead and put my Fibonacci back on, and you can see that the Fibonacci kind of agrees with these levels here as well. 618 is saying that $4.05, $4.10 should be a level to watch out for. which is also confluent with the moving averages that are sitting at that level as well. So I think, yeah, once you get to $4 again, people are going to start making decisions as to whether they want to hold on to Polkadot or if they're going to sell it. But like once we get up to like the 200-day moving average sitting at $4.45, some more decisions are going to be made before we start going up and retesting the highs here at $4.67. And if we're able to catch some more bids, then maybe we can get to the 1272 at $5.12, and then $5.69 could be a long-term take profit target for Polkadot later on in 2025. All right, moving on from Polkadot to Chainlink. Chainlink currently trading at $17.71. I have done previous Fibonacci analysis, so I'll just keep that there as is. If we continue losing our momentum here and have to come down to lower prices, I still think the 618 will come into play at $16.70 for Chainlink to actually catch a bounce. If not, then we might have to come down a little bit lower to basically the 200-day moving average sitting at $16.04, which puts you right above the 0.5 retracement. But I think the 200-day moving average should act initially as a support, because a lot of traders use that and they see that on the charts and they'll start clicking the buy button when they see that thing get down to that level. So those are your downside targets, is anywhere between like $16 to like $17. You should consider buying some relatively cheaper Chainlink. And if Chainlink does actually go up to the upside here, we do have a 1272 that says $22.89 could be in play. And then we got a 1618 that says $26 Chainlink could happen later on in 2025 here. Alright, I got Mario asking for TARS AI. We'll do that one right after Brett. And let me see if I got any more requests here. Oh, we got a request for Omni. And I see CC wants me to look at another stock for Xwell. We'll do that after Omni. I know I already done a couple of stocks for you. I'm going to try to see if I get to some other people's requests here, but we'll do that after Omni. Alright. Alright. Chainlink. Those are your upside targets for Chainlink. In the meantime here, downside targets is down to like $16 for now. We'll see how it handles itself if it does go down to the 200-day moving average. Hopefully, we reject that and we get a bounce off the 200-day. Moving on to Pepe and Doge. All right. So we looked at Pepe, I believe, yesterday and the day before that, but we're looking at it again. Trading at the 1142, down 4% today. And Pepe is coming down to the 50-day moving average. Looks like the 50-day moving average is acting as support at the 1134. We got as low as 1124, so we overshot it a little bit, but still maintaining ourselves above it for now. Okay. If traders do not want to start putting their bid orders in on Pepe and this thing starts selling off again, we could come down to the 200-day moving average sitting at 1049. Could be our next support level for Pepe. 1049 is sort of confluent with this 0.5 retracement at 1081. So I would expect these levels to agree with each other, whether you're a Fibonacci trader or a moving average trader, or if you do both of them like I do. You're probably looking at 1081 and 1049 as a stronger area to be placing your bid orders in. So I don't really think that's too far off from where we are right now. So your support is not that far for Pepe if it's not able to maintain this 50-day moving average. However, if we are able to maintain it and we start catching some bid orders here again, then I think we have to revisit the 618 all over again at 1211 and the 65 at 1247. See how we handle those levels here and try to keep pushing ourselves up and get back up to that 786 at 1397. Once you get back up to that 1397 level, then we do have the 1600 level for Pepe, which is where we were at back in May, right? We were at like 1632. And then, of course, longer term, later on in 2025, maybe you see the 1618 at 2300 Pepe. But you got some levels to work through here, getting through your Fibonacci levels here on Pepe. And I think these are the key levels to be looking out for as we start climbing up to higher prices on Pepe. And then, like I said, you know, downside target for now, nothing too crazy, but we could see it get down to 1081. All right. I don't think we have to worry about it going down to the 0.236 because that would be very brutal. You should be putting your stop losses probably below the 200-day moving average, so you don't have to deal with all that kind of damage right there. But you do have the 200-day moving average sitting at 1049, and I think that's where you'll get a lot of support if Pepe does come down to that level. All right, moving on from Pepe to Dogecoin. Dogecoin currently trading at 22 cents, down 1.7% today. Nothing too crazy. But I got the moving averages. I got the Fibonacci. We're trying to see if both of them agree with each other so we can get some confluence and figure out where's a good area to put our buy orders in and where's a good area to put our sell orders in. And right now, Dogecoin looks like it might continue its way down to the 200-day moving average sitting at 21.5 cents. Which is confluent with that 0.5 retracement at 21.5 cents, or 21.6 to be exact. Okay, but I think 21.5 cents could be a good support area for Dogecoin. Hopefully, we get a reaction off of that sends us back up to higher prices. And if we go back to higher prices, then we're looking at the 618 at 23 cents and the 65 at 23.7. Okay, could this golden pocket get retested and act as a support as we go to higher prices? And the next higher level after that would be the 786 at 25 cents. And then, of course, we want to see if we can get above what we did here on July 21st when we were as high as roughly 28 cents, almost 29 cents on Dogecoin. We have some work to do, but that would be the levels that we're going to have to contend against, because whoever bought here on July 21st, they're like, ah, damn it. Damn it. The prices, oh my god. They're down. Let's see, how far are they down right now? If I just measure from 28 down to where we are right now, they're about down 22% on their investment. So if Dogecoin comes right back up to 28 cents, they might be like, ah, I'm so glad that's over, and they're just gonna click the sell button and just break even. Okay. But if they don't click the sell button, then and you start getting some more bids on Dogecoin, then you could see Dogecoin come up to this 32 cent level, the 1272, and then you'd be up about 13% for this guy that bought the top over here. And then if we continue up to higher prices, then yeah, there's a 1618 that says that guy that bought the top here might sell at 37 cents, and then he'll be up 30%. And hopefully you bought down here, you'll be up a little bit more than 30%. But yeah, for this guy right here or gal who bought 28 cent Dogecoin, they might click the sell button when they get to 37 cents here, because they'll be up about 31% on their investment. I just like to give that little story there so you guys can understand why Fibonacci kind of plays out the way it does. Because yeah, this is what happens. Like, whoever bought here, they're down 22%. But if this thing comes back up to break even, they might be okay with that, and they might not want to stay in Dogecoin. And then that's when they sell, when Dogecoin gets back to 28 cents. However, that same person, if they decide to stick it through the rest of the bull run here, they might actually sell when Dogecoin gets to 37 cents, because they'll be up 30% on their investment. And that's how these Fibonacci things normally work here. And that's why I use Fibonacci, to kind of like figure out, what other investors and traders are thinking based on where they bought and sold. Gives you an idea as like where they might actually, buy and sell in the future. So yeah, those are the levels for Dogecoin. We'll move on to another popular meme coin. I don't normally get this request, but I appreciate it. Maybe we'll get more requests like this in the future, but we're gonna look at the Trump coin. And sure, we'll look at Trump coin on Coinbase. Why not? Trump coin. What is it? Trump coin doing? Currently trading at $9.45, down 2.88% today. And I just want to zoom out so people have an idea as to like what Trump coin has done. And Trump coin has basically lost everybody money who bought into it in January. Unfortunately. Okay. And that's usually what happens with meme coins, unless they're priced better and they actually start getting some bids. I think the only meme coin that's actually worth getting into, that's actually generating money and has a chance to burn its tokens, is Pudgy Penguin coin. We know Pudgy Penguin seems to be a beast of a meme coin in 2025 here. Unlike Trump coin. It is what it is. Not trying to get political here, but Trump coin is not as good as Pudgy Penguin coin. And the charts show that. But anyways, we'll still look at your Trump coin here. Trump coin did see highs here at like 1643 back in April 26. And another high here at 1593 May 22nd. But this thing is still making lower highs. I mean, that's what it was looking like that, but I'll disregard that candle wick here. And the downtrend is looking something like this right now. Okay. If you can get above this yellow line that I just drew, this downtrend, then you can start to be a little bit more bullish on Trump coin. Right now, I don't have many moving averages to look at. I would like to see a 200-day moving average, but this coin hasn't even been around for 200 days. So we don't even got any 200-day moving average to be, you know, basing our data and our decisions off of. But we do have a 100-day moving average that started to show up here. This blue line, and that's sitting at about 1075. I think I would have to say get above 1075 and you can start to be a little bit more bullish on Trump coin. Also get above this green moving 50-day moving average, which is sitting at 1098. I think once Trump coin gets above $11 and actually stays above $11 for more than like 1 or 2 days, then you could actually say, hey, yeah, we can actually be bullish on Trump coin. I also want to see Trump coin stop making lower highs. Like, this is not good. This is not helping anybody. Making lower highs only to then continue making lower lows. That's not helping, okay? Alright, but we did actually, looks like we bottomed out here in April. Trump coin got as low as $7.15. So you are making higher lows, but you're also making lower highs. So that's kind of like canceling each other out for the most part. Alright, so you do have, what we have here is we have kind of like a symmetrical triangle going on here. And you would think that, you know, towards the end of the symmetrical triangle, this thing is going to have to make a decision. Is it going to go above it or is it going to go below it? It might even decide to just trade sideways and just frustrate the hell out of everybody and just stay at $9.50. Just keep that in mind. But I would want to see us continue making higher lows on the daily time frame here, just for us to remain somewhat optimistic on Trump coin. And then, like I said, I want to see us get above the moving averages here, get above $11, and then I'll be a little bit more bullish on Trump coin. I'll start, you know, becoming a little bit more optimistic on this meme coin here. But yeah, that's how I'm looking at Trump coin right now. Get above $11 and then also get above this last high here at $11.91, and then we can talk about this coin again and see where it's going. But for now, I would just be cautiously optimistic on it. CC has high hopes for Trump coin. Yeah, I have high hopes too, but it has to start proving. You know, it can't just be, you know, just hope. Hope is not going to help you make money. You gotta actually prove that you're able to make money here. And show it on the charts that you're capable of doing it. Or like show us on the charts that this asset's capable of making money for people. DZ said you bought Trump at 14 and it ain't been back nowhere near that. Yeah, that's a possibility that can happen. Especially with meme coins. There's no guarantee that you will make money I think the Pudgy Penguin crew, they got it a good setup. Like they're actually making money by selling merchandise and whatnot, and I think they're burning some of the tokens, but they're also a validator for the Solana ecosystem, so they're getting money just by staking their coins, and you know, hopefully maybe they'll be able to share the wealth. But as long as they're making money, they're going to be around, and I think what they'll do is they'll just burn the tokens. They'll start getting rid of the tokens, and with less tokens in circulation, that actually makes the asset that much more valuable. So hopefully Trump Coin can do something like that. Whoever's in charge of Trump Coin could take notes from Pudgy Penguin and start doing the same thing. And then we might see a Trump Coin start pumping up in price as well. Alright, so that's Trump Coin. We'll take a look at RSR and Phi. We'll get RSR on Binance. RSR is currently trading at 0.0084 pennies, up almost 1% today. On a day when most coins are down, that's good to see, I guess. Yeah, I'm looking at the moving averages. The moving averages are all below us for the most part, except for the 21 EMA. You do have the 200 moving average, which is a very important level. That's why I highlighted it as red. Looks like your 200 moving average is sitting at 0.0082 pennies. Looks like you are trying to get some support off of this. Every time we go below the 200 moving average, we never stay below it. We got candle wicks here that are saying that there's some buying pressure at this level. So traders and investors are doing their best to try to respect the 200 moving average and keep this thing above the 200 moving average. So that's good to see. Also, what was good to see was this thing to actually get above the 200 moving average, and this could be just us trying to create some support here before we go up to higher prices on our RSR. If we do go to higher prices on RSR, obviously we want to get above the highs that we did here on July 18th and July 19th. But let's see if we can get above the high here earlier in May, when we got as high as like 0.01069 pennies here. Basically, get up to 11 cents. Oh, I'm sorry, not 11 cents. Get above 0.11 pennies. Okay, I'm gonna highlight this. A take profit target. Take profit target 1. This red line. Get above that level, please. And then we can say that we're definitely in an uptrend and we're making some progress here. But yeah, this thing has been the higher prices here. I think after 11, I'm sorry, I don't want to say 11 cents. After we get past 1 cent, we gotta get up to 2 cents. Or, I'm sorry, not 2 cents, about a penny and a half in this area. So I think your next take profit target or resistance area is gonna be somewhere right here. At about 0.013 pennies. Alright, I'll even label this, right? We're gonna label this take TP2 for take profit 2, take profit target 2, shoot, 2, take profit target 2, and then this will be TP1. Alright, and if I throw on the VRVP, that might actually help agree with what I just did there. Yeah. Actually, this first take profit target doesn't even have that much volume on the VRVP. We could just blow right through that take profit target. There's not that much volume, not much resistance at that area. But you'll see on take profit target 2 at 0.013 pennies, we actually have quite a bit of volume here on the VRVP. All that green is buying volume, all that red is selling volume, so traders have agreed that 0.013 pennies is a level to watch out for. So I think that should be your long-term take profit target on this asset for now. And then we'll just see how it handles itself once it gets above TP2 here. and gets above that value area high. Because the volume does drop off again. You got a little bit of volume here at like a penny and a half, and then some volume here at 0.017 pennies here. And then of course even more volume at like 2 pennies. And I believe this thing has been, yeah, it has been above 2 pennies. But not for too long. I think if you do get to 2 pennies, you doubled your money and you should get out of this asset and take your profits. But yeah, that's what I see here, just using the VRVP here. I think those are going to be your take profit targets to the upside for RSR. And just for the downside targets, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. If you lose this 200-day moving average and you're actually thinking about short selling or doing a quick scalp trade, then maybe this thing comes down to that 100-day moving average sitting at 0.0075 pennies. But I would expect this to actually act as support at some point as well. Alright, so that's RSR. Take a look at FI, and then we got RET coming after that. And I was planning on doing like a... We're already 1 hour into this live stream. Maybe I might be able to make this a 2-hour live stream. But I do want to definitely get out after 2 hours. That's a lot of talking for me to do. FI USD. Is this a stock or a crypto? If you're still in the chat, let me know. Bucci wants us to look at Fetch AI. I got you. I think that might have to be the last request for altcoins though, because I do want to wrap this thing up at some point. Oh, you're welcome, CC. Glad you were able to come into the live stream and take a look at these assets together. I'm just waiting for the guy that requested FI to tell me if it was a crypto or a stock. Maybe if I go back in the chat, I can see if he already put that it's a crypto. And this one came right after RSR. FI protocol. Okay, that's the name of the thing. If it's called FI protocol, I'm assuming that's a crypto. So let me just type in FI and I'll just put in crypto and see what that comes up with. Yeah, if you could just tell me the ticker symbol if you're there. I don't know what the ticker symbol is for this crypto, if it is a crypto. Oh, bless me. Oh. How my guys doing here on YouTube? You guys kind of a little quiet today. My YouTube guys. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to thank you, Joe, for the blessings. It's waiting for someone to say bless you. But yeah, I'm gonna just say this is this Phil token? I don't know. Or FI Sol on Radium. Okay. Looking at FI Sol, $7.93. This is what I have. I was waiting for the guy to tell me if it's a crypto or stock. Yeah. Anyways, we'll quickly do the analysis here. I'm not even sure if he's around still, but this thing is making low highs, kind of like making a bull flag. Very interesting. It's just going up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, but just trading sideways for the most part. And is it able to catch the bids here? I don't know. Let me see what the RSI is looking like on this thing. Yeah, it looks like this thing did get overbought back in February of this year. RSI has cooled down, done what it needed to do to cool down. Got a little bit overbought here on July 22nd here. I think this thing is doing alright for now. But I'm just gonna do a quick analysis on here. This thing looks like it might be in a bull pennant. Bull pennant or bull flag. And just using basic chart pattern analysis with the bull flags. This is considered like trend analysis. If you were to maintain this trend and do the same thing here in the future here, you just take this flag pole, you put it to like where we could break out of the flag, somewhere like right over here. You could see this thing possibly jump up as high as $17.75 before people start clicking the sell button and taking profit. And I'll quickly do a Fibonacci analysis to measure the top side targets here using this big giant bull flag that we're in. And the 1618 is saying that 1469 could be an area where you might want to take profit as well on this asset. And I think I'll just do the upside targets. Downside targets, just, you know, stay above this level here at $5.80, which is basically where the golden pocket is sitting at. Don't lose that, or else it might be even more trouble for you on this asset. Alright, moving on to Brett, and then we'll do TARS AI. I obviously have previous chart analysis and a lot of things to look at here. I'm gonna get rid of this falling wedge. We've seen that the falling wedge has played out. We have gone and broken out, just not as vigorously as we thought we could with Brett here. And just using my Fibonacci analysis here, Brett could come down to the 0.382 at 5 cents here. Looks like we're losing the 200-day moving average. This 200-day moving average is sitting at 0.053 pennies. We're now at 0.052 pennies. So you're losing the 200-day moving average. Not good. No bueno. But that could be a little fake out, and then they bring it back up right above the 200-day moving average the next day here. But I'm expecting, 0.5 to, hopefully be respected. The 5 cent level. It's a psychological level. Some traders and investors might want to actually buy at that level. Looks like we came down to 5 cents here on Tuesday, July 15th, and it got bought up. But now it looks like we might have to come revisit that level again and see if we actually can respect that 5 cent level here. And if we can respect it and actually go to higher prices, then I think eventually you'll see Brett come right back up to the 618 retracement at like 6.066 pennies, 6.5 pennies right here, and even 7 penny level. We weren't able to get above that 6.5 cent level here. Look at that. We literally respected this and never got above it. Not even just to do a little fake out. So I think 0.066 pennies is your upside target that you have to break to show that you're still bullish on Brent. And if you are, then, the 786 retracement could act as resistance at 0.078 pennies. And then, of course, we got to get up to what we did here back in May 10th at like 0.093 pennies here. But for now, I won't even get into like 1618. I mean, I could show you 1618 is at 13 cents, but we have a lot of work to do here getting to these fib levels. And I think your first day profit target should be about well, if you're day trading it, it would be 0.66 pennies. But I think if you're in it for a long-term swing trade, see if you can push this thing up to like 0.078 pennies, and then second day profit target would be, right around that 9 cent level. See how you do there, and if you're in it for the longer term, then yeah, 13.5 cents should be a long-term take profit target. Maybe it happens later on this year, maybe it doesn't, maybe it happens 2026. Alright, moving on from Brett to TARS AI. Then we got Omni and Xwell and Fetch, and that's gonna be it for this live stream. And then I gotta get out of here. Get out of here. Where's Porky? He loves my accent, my Boston accent. All right. Let's look at TARS. Let's go. So we're looking at TARS AI, currently trading at roughly almost 6.5 cents here. And I did do previous chart work analysis on this earlier this week, and it's still applicable even to this day. However, oh no, we are losing this uptrend here on TARS AI. Okay. Now I have to what? I have to readjust this to make it look like that? But stop doing this, okay? If you're gonna be bullish, you gotta stop going down, right? Because you don't have that much support. If you lose 6 pennies on TARS AI, you could immediately come right back down to where you were trading at back in April when this thing was trading at like 2.5 pennies. Almost 2 pennies, 2.5 pennies down here. Do not lose 6 cents. Do not pass go, or you will go down to 2 pennies on TARS AI, in my opinion. Not financial advice. But just looking at the charts, it looks like it wants to do that. This 6 cent level is crucial. Let me just highlight that. Let me see, I'll put that in text here. Do not pass. You shall not pass. Yeah, let me just put that in there. You shall not pass. Oh wait, let me put in capital letters here. You shall not pass. Do not do this. Do not go below 6 cents on TARS AI. This could be a good area to start scooping up TARS AI, and then you put a stop loss at like 5.5 pennies, and hopefully it never hits that stop loss. But do not go below 6 pennies, because it's gonna be very bad if it does do it, in my opinion. I don't know why TARS AI is not able to catch some bids here, why it's not able to participate in the altcoin rally that we've had this past couple of weeks here. I think mainly because it's hard to find on the exchanges. We are looking at it on Mexi exchange, but I think if this thing got listed on some other exchanges, like, I don't know, is this thing on Binance? Is it on Binance? If it got listed on like Coinbase, it would get more money pumping into it, with it being like an AI, you know, related cryptocurrency. But yeah, TARS AI. Oof. Stop doing this. Start going up to higher prices. Try to reclaim these moving averages at like 9 cents. This 50-day moving average is pretty important level for some people to be looking for. And then eventually try to get to like 12 cents here, where the 200-day moving average is sitting at. If you get up to 12 cents, you're basically almost doubling your money, and that's enough to get people excited to buy this crypto. But yeah, I don't. This is very worrying. I can't even show you like the higher price targets here. I know 16.5 cents was an area to look out for, but first you got to get above the 50-day moving average and then get above the 200-day moving average, and then we can talk about maybe getting up to like 16.5 cents here. Yeah, that's your upside downside targets for TARS AI. Valuistic is saying, hello Damien, would you please have a look at ALX? Appreciate that. Maybe I could have squeezed that in for you. I'm getting towards the end of this live stream here. I've been almost live. I've been live for about an hour and 20 minutes, but I still got a few more to look at, and I'll see if I got the energy for that. Girl says bullish news for XDC. What happened with XDC? And Bucci saying you don't answer me never. Okay, and now you're getting emotional. Alright, we are gonna look at Fetch AI, but I told you, like, I got a bunch of other requests before Fetch AI. But if you're gonna get emotional and leave, then that's okay. You know, you could be just like my ex-girlfriend. You can leave. That's fine. You guys, you're acting like my ex-girlfriend over here. LTN says, "Are you profitable?" And then Guerrero says, "ETF filing, Binance listing." Oh, that's good. Yeah, I do answer. I got you. I'm just saying, like, we're doing TARS AI, and then I gotta do Omni and Xwell, and then comes Fetch AI. I take the requests as they come in order. Until you guys, you know, start paying me. If you want to pay me to do your requests now, then I can do that. You know, now I could put you to the front of the line. I'm not sure how you would do that here with TikTok, but maybe you could give me a gift or something, and then I'll do your requests. All right, a gift that actually has some monetary value to it. Yeah, then I'll get right to it. Make with payment. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see, because you know, eventually I get a lot of requests. I got like 20 requests right here, right? I don't know if you can see it, but you know, these are all the requests that I've done so far. Okay, and at some point I would like to monetize these live streams. That way I can then have someone that is short on time but has the money and wants me to look at the asset right now. I would do that, and I would actually, you know, look at your requests first and then get on to the ones, you know, the ones that didn't tip me. You know, I would eventually get to their requests at some point. But yeah, that's just the way things are for now. Alright. Let me move on to Omni, and then we'll look at Xwell and Fetch AI. Looking at Omni right now, currently trading, oh wow, up 102% today. Jeez. $5.13. And now you have clearly got above this 200-day moving average with some clear, convincing fashion, some conviction here. That 200-day moving average is sitting at $3.49. Wow, okay. Not sure what you want me to do with this thing, but it looks like you are now starting to get some bullish bids here. You know my opinion. If you get above the 200-day moving average, you can start to be bullish on this asset here. So I would now flip from being bearish to bullish now that you're able to do that on Omni. But let's see. I'm getting familiar with this chart for the first time here. Looks like we have seen better days here back in 2024. And this is a start. This is the start of bottoming out and actually starting an uptrend here. But let's see if we're able to hold and maybe like start consolidating at like $5 here for Omni. Also, maybe if it's not going to consolidate at $5, maybe we can get a back test off of the 200-day moving average at $3.50 and try to catch some bids and go to higher prices after that. But as of now, I'll just quickly do a fib retracement here. Okay. From like the highs here down to the lows on this swing low here. Looks like the 1272 level says that if you continue being bullish here, this thing could go up to $6.32. But then you have the 1618 saying that this thing could get up to like $7.40. So that's what your upside targets if we can continue being bullish on this asset. Don't be surprised if we do come down to the 618 retracement, the golden pocket at $4.28. Okay. But like I said, 200-day moving average could also act as support at $3.50, which is confluent with the 0.382 retracement at $3.54. So those could also be your downside targets if this thing consolidates and also consolidates and tries to back test and get a bounce off the 200-day moving average. All right, moving on from Omni to Xwell. And I see Bucci sent some GGs. Thank you, thank you. Did I put too many L's in there? Oh, it's not a, yeah, it's not a crypto, it's a stock. Xwell trading at $1.10. And Xwell has got above the 200-day moving average, so that's good to see. But it came right back down to the moving average, and it lost it. And now we're getting some support off of the 100-day, sitting at $1.05. As I start to zoom out, I have some levels that we could be looking at. I see that there's some sideways trading action at $1.81, so I probably make that take profit target in the future. This would probably be a good area to start thinking about selling or clicking that sell button, and you will be up about roughly, I think, 70% from where you are right now. If we get up to $1.80, about 63%. Okay, you got 63% potential move up in price if you want to stay in this trade, stay in this investment. On the downside, you could come down to this 50-day moving average at 93 cents and get some support. 93 cents seems to be a level that you were trading at sideways, so there's a lot of support at this level. Matter of fact, if I threw on the VRVP, it's probably going to say that. Yeah, your POC is at 94 cents, so this is a level where you should get some support if this thing does come down to that level. And then you might even get some more support at the value area low at 86 cents, but I would be eyeballing 94 cents in the meantime if it does get down to that level. And this thing could be off to the races. Once it gets above that 200-day moving average, we'll see how it handles itself. But this thing could be in the process of bottoming out. Looks like the bottom came in April, right around the 90-day tariff pause. And that's the TA on XWell. Upside targets, downside targets. You can ask about this one in the future. We'll see how this one does in some later live streams here. But we'll move on to Fetch AI. Fetch USD on Coinbase. Alright, so we're looking at Fetch AI. Hopefully you're still there with me. We're looking at Fetch AI currently trading at 70 cents. Down 1.89% today. Let me get rid of the VRVP for now. And Fetch AI is also getting the beginnings of some good things coming for itself. It did get above the 2-day moving average around July, July 19th to like July 22nd, around those days right there. Came down to 200-day moving average, trying to stay at it for support, but it looks like we just lost that support. And now, what is this thing going to do now? Is it going to come down to this 100-day moving average at 66 cents? Could be a possible area where it gets a lot of support. I see 66 cents was an area that this thing was trading at back in late June, going into the beginning of July here. I think that's where we're heading for Fetch AI, unless we catch some bids here and Bitcoin starts going to all-time highs. I think Fetch AI wants to settle down near 66 cents all over again here. And if it does, we'll see how it trades, and then you can ask me about this on a future live stream, but we'll just take a look at, for now, Fetch AI, I think, is going to have to show that it can handle, that it can stay at 66 cents and not lose it. If it loses it, then we might have to come down to where we were in June 22nd, and that's going to hurt a lot. So I think you could put your stop loss probably at like 63 cents and see if 66 is going to hold. Okay. But don't try to remove your stop loss. Like, if we go down to 63 cents and it hits, like, probably means this thing wants to come down to like revisit the lows here on June 22nd at 54 cents. So you're just going to take more of a further hit if you try moving your stop loss. I would just put the stop loss at 63 cents. That gives you a little bit of room in case it does go down to below the 100-day moving average and then kind of like hits and comes back up again. Yeah, if it goes down and hits you, only for it to then go back up, you're going to take like a small loss. You might have to buy back in at a higher price. But at least you're avoiding losing, more money if it does go down into the 50s or the 40-cent area. Yeah, that's what we're gonna have to do, Joe, on my live streams. Is we're gonna have to do super chats and TikTok to get faster coin requests. But yeah, I did have a guy here that was getting a little bit anxious, and he did send me the GIF, and we're going over his asset right now. Hopefully, he's happy with what I was able to do. But yeah, if if I start seeing people throwing in gifts for their coin requests, I think that's gonna have to be the rule from now on. You gotta send some gifts if you want to skip the line. For now. But yeah, that's how we're gonna go forward, and then eventually I will get monetized on YouTube, and then we'll have to do super chats to get these coin requests faster. I got you, Bucci. I told you, like, those are the rules going forward. You know, if you send me gifts, that helps me out, and I will be able to do your coin request faster. I think that's a fair enough rule for everybody here. Bucci, you asking me, can what go to $8 on the bull run? Okay, yeah. And then Valuistic is asking, what was the all-time high for Fetch AI? Let's see. Let me go into the monthly chart. We'll zoom out here. On Coinbase, we did see Fetch AI get as high as $3.48. I did have an old previous Fibonacci analysis here that I think is still applicable. And this is saying that the 1618 could be $5.27, and the 2618 is $8.19. So I think, you know, Fetch AI could get up to $8, but it's gonna have a lot of resistance at $3.46 because that was its all-time high was $3.46, unless someone can find it on another exchange where it got a little bit higher than that. But I think if you look at Fetch AI on most exchanges, like we'll see what it was like on Binance, which is a very heavily traded exchange here. Yeah, Fetch AI got to like 348 back in March of 2024, so it has to get past that level before we can even talk about, you know, $5, $6, $8 Fetch AI. But back in the day, you know, back in 2024, when it was at $3, people were talking about it going to $8. So with it being at 70 cents, it's a little bit harder for it to make the case that we could see Fetch AI going to $8. But that would be, you know, comfortable 10x from where it is, maybe like 11x from where it is. And if more money goes in the altcoin space in general, then yeah, we could possibly see a 10x for Fetch AI. I wouldn't say that it's not realistic. It's a possibility. If it goes to 60 cents, you're gonna put 50 grand into it. Wow, you're big. You have a lot of conviction in Fetch AI. I'm curious, what is Fetch AI doing that would make you wanna put that much money into it? I haven't really been keeping up on the news with Fetch AI. I actually had Fetch AI back in 2024, but I got out of it myself. But if it's doing something new, it's got a use case. If it's working with some partners here, like, it's got to be doing something for me to put my money to work with it. All right, we're gonna move on to Axel, I think, AXL, and then I think that's it for the requests. LTN. XDC. We'll look at AXL. And was that a request for LTN, or were you just saying that guy's screen name? Oh, you're welcome, CC. I'm glad to see you come in. Appreciate you coming in. I look forward to see you on the next live stream. Thank you. All right, moving on to AXL. So I think this is the crypto you want me to look at. AXL trading at 36 cents. Let me go into the daily time frame here. Alright, okay. This thing has seen better days here back in 2024. Probably during the altcoin season of 2024. Was like around March of 2024. Before we had like another one here in like November, December of 2024. But this thing is on the downtrend here. not making money, but losing money for investors, so that's not good to see. Has this thing bottom out? Looks like the lows for the year might have been April 7th at 27 cents. And you are making higher lows, so that's good to see, but we want to be making higher highs as well, and you kind of did that. Something crazy happened here on June 10th where this thing went up like 51% and got above the 200-day moving average. So that was good to see. Can we continue on with this momentum and stop going down? Because we came down just almost as fast as we came up. And we lost all this progress here. But now the 200-day moving average, we're trying to do this again here. We're trying to get above the 200-day moving average. And we did that here on July 25th. Only for us to come back and try to do a back test off the 200-day moving average. But now we've lost that back test. And looks like here on Monday we lost 8%. And now here we are on Tuesday losing 3.5% roughly. And we're back testing the 50 and the 100 moving averages. I would say don't lose this and don't lose these candlewick lows, because if you lose these candlewick lows, you could be in a world of hurt, and you just lost the bullish case that this thing is starting an uptrend and it's actually continuing the downtrend. So this is a head scratcher in my opinion here. But another level to watch for is stay above 29 cents here. Don't lose this previous higher low that you made here in June. I would say don't lose any more than what you've already lost already in this little downtrend you just created right now. Don't lose this 50, 100-day moving average. Actually show that you're treating this as support so we can go to higher prices. And when the moving averages bunched up like this, there could be an explosive move to the upside on Axel. Just like you saw here in on June 10th. We could get another exponential God candle for Axel. Alright, you could be catching the bottom. Let's see what the RSI is showing here. You are making higher lows on the RSI. I like to see that. Okay. So that shows me that buyers are showing up and buying this asset. Now if I go back to the chart here, and I'll just get rid of this thing for now. So I'm trying to see if there's any bullish divergence. Okay. I don't really see bullish divergence, but making higher lows on the RSI doesn't hurt. And you're making higher lows on the price. So it just shows that this is staying relatively bullish for now. I just say keep doing what you're doing and actually get above the 200-day moving average and actually use that as support instead of resistance. Don't do this. Like, I mean, this does happen. Like, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to use 200-day moving average as support and then go up from, you know, to higher prices here. This can happen, but you know, now that happened, let's see if we can go back and get above the 200-day moving average and actually stay above the 200-day moving average. Do that for a few days, maybe a couple of weeks if possible, and then we can be launching up to higher prices on AXL. And then if we do go to higher prices, you know, I think let's see what the VRVP has to say. VRVP is showing this is a value area high, roughly at 74 cents. So that makes sense. If this thing doubles in price, there's going to be some people clicking the sell button on you. But that's a level where people were trading at back in November of 2024 and December of 2024. This thing was trading at 74 cents. So I think once this thing does get up to that level, those people will be like, oh my god, I can break even again. I can actually break even on this asset. And they're going to click the sell button. And I think you should consider clicking the sell button as well. Unless you're just going to be greedy or something. I have no idea. Not financial advice, but if I double in an asset, I like to take profits if I can. Unless I really believe in this asset that I'm in. Elias, we're getting towards the end of the live stream here. I've been live for about almost 2 hours here, and I want to get on with the rest of my day here. But if you can come join me on the Meet Damien Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join. This is a great place to come and join the Meet Damien community, where you'll see when I go live. I'll post up when I go live with my YouTube videos here, and I also, you know, share some funny memes here. And what I also am able to do for some people is, if you have a chart request and you showed up late and I wasn't able to do it, or even if you know, you want me to look at one of these assets and I'm not live streaming, then you can put that request in and I'll take a look at your chart here, like I did for Law Noom here. He asked me about TRB, and what I did was, you know, when I was able to get around to it, I did a screenshot and then I showed him what I thought about TRB. I gave him my take profit target. He obviously loved it, and yeah. What I could do is, you know, just go ahead and don't forget to follow me, and then once we're both following each other, I'll be able to message you, and then I can give you the link to join the Meet Damien channel here. But yeah, this is where I can give you the link for the Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join, and then we can stay in touch and I can go over your chart requests. But yeah, this is it for me today. I already did a pretty good long live stream here, and that's gonna be it. Yeah. I want to finish off by looking at Bitcoin, and then we'll end the live stream here. Let's see. We did talk about Bitcoin earlier today, and we're gonna finish off on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin might actually start to make its way down. If it's gonna be bearish, it could actually revisit this 618 level here at 113,714. And that golden pocket near $114,500 Bitcoin. We are currently kind of playing games and trading sideways near the 786 retracement at $117,900 Bitcoin. If we can actually cast some bids here on Bitcoin, then maybe we can revisit this 123K level here, which I think is still possible. We could do that this week, especially if we get some good economic news pushing the markets up higher. And I'm still holding on to, like, you know, Bitcoin could go to $130,000. Obviously it's the end of this month, but I think $130,000 Bitcoin could be the upside target for next month in August, probably around that August 9th date, right? Remember, for some reason during the full moon, which is the next full moon's on Saturday, August 9th, I think that's when Bitcoin might actually be making new all-time highs here. Okay, but we'll see. We'll see. That's a little bit far off in the future, but not too far. It's about a couple of weeks from now. I think Bitcoin is going to be doing quite alright a couple of weeks from now. So this could just be a buying opportunity, right? For those of you who complain about Bitcoin not going down, the next thing you can do is just maybe buy Bitcoin where it's at. If it's consolidating and going sideways, this might be the best price you can get it for, unless we're able to get it at $113,000, $114,000. But if you're not able to get it, you know, for $113,000, $114, I would say throw some skin in the game. See if you can buy some Bitcoin right now. Okay, and then yeah, you might be able to buy some more at $113,000, $114,000. Okay, but Bitcoin, there's nothing that says that Bitcoin has to go down there. It might just keep going sideways, and then boop, catch the bid, go back to the all-time highs, and then boop, catch the bid, go up to $130,000. Alright, that's it for me today, guys. Be on the lookout for my next live stream. I can't make any guarantees because I'm on vacation right now, but it looks like I've been able to go live streaming just about every day. If you don't see me at like 12 to 2 p.m., which is what I've been going live streaming, then you can catch me around this time, which is like 5 or 6 p.m. Eastern time is when I go live towards the late afternoon, early evening hours here. But until then, you know, good luck trading and investing in whatever asset you decide to get into. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next live stream. Take care, guys.